So this is going to be addressing all the white people that have allowed themselves to be so overcome by the sins of their ancestors that they embrace the identity politics of today's social justice warriors, or more appropriately, the religion of victimhood. I must admit, you were right all along. You are the problem. And you should feel guilty, but not for the reasons you think. It's because you've managed to help create one of the most bigoted, hateful, and authoritarian movements in history. And there are many reasons why I say that, but the worst aspect is the fact that you are supporting something that is literally doing the opposite of what you state you want to accomplish. What's even worse is I think many of you know this, and the rest of you are just useful idiots. I mean, even Islam has a path for your redemption. You just convert to Islam. However, as a new convert, you may be forced to martyr yourself for the religion of peace, but they'll love and accept you afterwards. And like in Islam, the only possibility for redemption by this cult of victimhood is if you convert to a member of a marginalized sexual orientation. Or you might get away with transitioning to another race, but I'm not sure how long that path will be open. However, at present, this is the only way you can relinquish your privilege and be a full-fledged member. Oh, and you can't just say you're homosexual. It must be obvious, because if it's not obvious, then you could still be basking in white privilege, because people might not immediately know you're gay and unknowingly bestow privilege upon you that was meant for a white cis male. And in Islam, a white Christian that won't convert can submit and pay a tribute, or a jizya, and then they'll stop considering you an infidel, or at least put you at the bottom of their list of infidels to kill. In the same way, straight white people can submit to their religion of victimhood, and they'll tolerate you as long as you question nothing, but they'll never accept you unless you fully relinquish your privilege by openly joining a marginalized group. Just like Islam will never fully accept a Christian unless they convert to Islam. So you're like a Christian in Islam agreeing to pay the jizya. But at least a Christian submitting to survive. You're doing it because you think you deserve it. So congratulations, you've managed to help create a movement that will never accept you. Groucho Marx was joking when he said, "I don't want to belong to any club that would accept me as a member." He was being ironically self-deprecating, as he certainly believed that any club should be honored to have him as a member, and I'm guessing he wouldn't have paid their dues either. This concept of enduring the sins of your ancestors is barbaric, and it has no part to play in a society seeking any form of social equality. This is a system of social hierarchy based on the purity of your bloodline. Now, that's another reason you're known as regressives. Now, I can trace my roots back to the Asian continent, so there's a distinct possibility that I'm a blood descendant of Genghis Khan, as he and his band of merry mongrel hordes spread their seed all over that continent. My great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy could have killed some 40 million people and raped thousands of women. It's a whole lot of guilt. Thank God I'm not an idiot that believes that would in any way translate to me. How about, instead of allowing yourself to be beat down to pay for your ancestors' sins, why not endeavor to bring others up? Privilege in this case is a matter of perspective. So if you're being prejudged negatively, then from your perspective, those that aren't have a privilege that you do not. But again, why do you think it's a good idea to force a negative prejudgment on another race to even the playing field? Do you really believe that you will always be prejudged negatively, no matter what you do? And this is the only path to equality? That's revenge, not equality. Humans prejudging others is an immutable fact of the mind, and you're willing to admit this is true for you, but you're exempting others from that fact, so they remain responsible. This is why critical race theory embraces the definition of racism as prejudice plus power. It allows them to connect a moral failing to others while absolving themselves of that moral judgment for the same behavior. When you try to change behaviors through force of law or the use of shame to force acceptance, you're not changing the behavior, you're just making people hide it, which not only stagnates progress, it causes it to fester and it fosters resentment. Because then, when it is talked about, it's not challenged, because it's in a confirming, friendly environment. Therefore, it seems that what you are eager to define as white nationalism as being on the rise, when it's not. White people are just now more open on their feelings about their own identity, because when the religion of victimhood decided to come out and label all white people racist, they took away the incentive for accepting a double standard on having a racial identity, and along with it, the shaming power of the charge of being a racist. Ironically, this is what needed to happen to get this shit back out in the open so we can address it. Now, obviously, this is not what you intended, but thank you anyhow. The idea that whiteness is an automatic positive on any systemic or institutional level is demonstrably false. This is not a Dave Chappelle sketch. When I go for a loan, they look at my credit report. They don't say, "Oh, we don't need to see your credit report, Mr. White. Here's your money." But what is true is that believing in such an invisible underlying fabric of society that won't let you through because of something you can't change is orders of magnitude more damaging than encountering some disadvantages. It's psychologically debilitating. It's a cycle that will never resolve. Who would embrace a society that they think oppresses them? No one. So you're going to self-segregate, which will effectively take you out of the larger game, which in turn will dramatically reduce your chances for finding success. Human beings deal with challenges quite well. It's maybe our biggest strength, but we have to be able to clearly define them. Adversity really does bring out the best in us, and it binds us together with a clarity of purpose. But how do you fight an invisible, undefined adversary? It might as well be a supernatural force, which is by far the most common culprit responsible for all the undesirable outcomes in our lives. So that ought to tell you right there how bad we are at understanding the real causes behind events which happen to us, which is not surprising, as it's extremely difficult to see them, especially when our preconceptions have an easy answer ready for us. All any of us really have to do to break ourselves out of this defeatism is accomplish something or overcome a challenge that you truly believe that you would never be able to do. If you can do that one time, in that instant, your entire mindset will flip, and you'll be set on a journey that would have seemed impossible to your former self. But identity politics are robbing many minorities of this future. You took their "we shall overcome" and gave them "I can't even." How did that seem like it would be empowering? So if you're not too drunk on your victimhood, and you really want to be an ally to the marginalized, quit feeding them a narrative that they can never have power over, and give them back their agency. And in no time, the reasons used to prejudge them negatively will simply fade away. Give them a chance to take Edna's not-so-subtle advice and...
Pull yourself together! What will you do? Is this a question? Go, confront the problem, fight, win! And call me when you get back, darling. I enjoy our visits.